Was there like an internet problem in Canada today? I heard that on the news.
Really? Is that a Canada joke? Look, no, Wayne, you don't have to respond to that. Do not respond to that. No Canada slamming in our community.
It's hard. I will refrain from Canada slamming, but I remember Canada used to work a lot better not too long ago, but a lot of things don't really work well anymore.
Hopefully, Tim Ventura can fix that up in the post-processing if you send him over the presentation.
That's right. No, yeah.
I don't know. I'm volunteering Tim's work.
Wait, what can I fix? His presentation or Canada in post?
Oh no, but you can put the slides on top of his audio.
Oh, I think the way he did it was awesome. Actually, I you know what? He's just like, he just whips out his camera. He's like, screw it, we're going downtown.
It was a really amazing presentation. I wasn't able to read all the words and see everything very clearly, but really well put together. Lots of information there. One thing that I did notice about your temperature tests, and this is something that I learned recently from the vapor deposition machine, that any object in a humid environment, meaning a room that doesn't have 0% humidity, which is basically the entire planet, will build up a thin film layer of water on it, and that is temperature dependent. As the temperature is above ambient temperature, you get less water, so you'll see a temperature drop, and when it's below ambient temperature, you'll see lots of condensation. That was in line with your temperature readings, so I would recheck that part of the experiment, but all the other stuff were very interesting. Your analogy to how trees are pulling up the water through their bark is pretty interesting as well. And clouds, why are they flying?
Yeah, things we don't really think about every day, right?
Yeah, you don't think about it. Just because it happens in your everyday life doesn't mean that it's. Like, think of the sun, for instance. We've had that was a massive hole in physics. Why is the sun, so hot? Where's it getting its energy from?
These are Mark. These are, you mentioned DMT earlier, right? This is what comes out of that. Why are clouds? Why are clouds flying? I'm like, whoa! I feel high.
Those are the kind of things you think about when you're on shrooms, probably.
Yeah, like I feel stoned just hearing you say that. I'm like, man, it's been a long time since college.
Yeah.
Okay. Great presentation.
Thanks. Oh, let me mention just kind of in response to what you said. So Pablo, Pablo, I think he calls himself Dr. Hongo.
Pablo, Dr.
Yeah. But he just got a little digital balance, and he just sent this to me, I think today or yesterday. But he saw a 340 milligram drop or gain in water, but he had a little thermos and he put hot water in it, measured it and stuff, and he saw a big change there. So, and I trust, he's a scientist, so he's a chemist. So, and Jeremiah's was getting positive results. Although Jeremiah, he wants to work more with it. I know he's doing a lot of things right now, but he wasn't like 100% convinced, like he still had some reservation about could water molecules be escaping through plastic and through glass, and so I don't think so, but it's just one of those things where if enough people start seeing it, it sounds so stupid, like, oh, it's right there, like every day, like you pour water in a cup, it's losing weight. But yeah.
Have you considered atmospherical effects like pressure, incoming cold fronts, or anything like that?
Incoming cold fronts. Well, I mean,
the mercury rises.
I've done numerous experiments in different contexts, like in different conditions, and lately pretty stable conditions. Jeremiah does it in his apartment, right? So it's like very, very stable temperature. And so the trend is always the same. I mean, you've got an analytical balance there. You can try it too, convince yourself. Do it.
I will definitely give it a shot. I even got some water from the Atlantic Ocean to compare it to the water from the Pacific.
Yeah. So I think when it has dissolved compounds in it, like salts and stuff, I think the effect is more pronounced, like it behaves differently. Probably relating to the amount of work it has to do to expel those salts and those other substances in it. It might have something to do with it. And just going back to Dr. Gerald Pollack and what they found with the light and stuff being a factor to increase this state, right? Like we know in other, like in physics, it takes more, like if you want to make laser beam, you have to pump the lasing medium with light, like you have to energize it to create that new state. And so there's some sort of an energy pumping going on that's creating this highly ordered state of water that has this effect. And I don't know how to go any further with theory or whatever to describe this positively or accurately, like what the state exactly is, or how it interacts with the vacuum of space in virtual. I mean, there's all this other stuff like quantum physics that kind of comes into it. Like what's going on here at that level?
So let me go to Robert DBS, who's patiently had his hand up. Robert, go for it, sir.
Mute here. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Some time ago, I was doing some experiments with using a Sartorius scale. It had a maximum, it could weigh up 220 grams, and it could weigh 1/10 of a milligram. So it's like the next stage beyond, I believe, what you have on your scale. But the literature with the scale said that the scale itself is sensitive to temperature and pressure. And also, I thought it was also sensitive to maybe electrostatic, conditions in the atmosphere. I was working in my kitchen.
Yeah.
And I noticed drift on whatever I put on there. Dielectrics were more subject to drift than what metals. Metals were pretty stable, but dielectrics had drift. They would drift up and they'd drift down, but they were nowhere near what you were seeing. 100 milligrams is like crazy. Mine were maybe, it would drift maybe up to a milligram. Even.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I gotta try this. I gotta try this. This is crazy.
Yeah. I know it is crazy, isn't it? Like you just pour it in a cup and it loses weight. I mean,
yeah.
Can anti-gravity be any more simple than that? I don't know.
Yeah.
If you can call it anti-gravity, I mean.
Well, I don't know what the actual phenomenon is, but I would check to make sure your scale itself isn't misleading you.
Yeah, I mean, I went over a lot of information there and a lot of slides. So I wouldn't expect everybody to catch every nuance of, everything that we did, like as far as like trying to eliminate errors. But as a rule of thumb, I just discount, like if it's plus or minus 1 milligram, I don't really pay attention to that. But when it starts to be 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 milligrams,
That's
then
a
I'm
lot.
like, what's going on here?
That's an awful lot.
Yeah. And so, and what I do more now than I used to do is I actually measure, like I calibrate it before I measure it, right, with a 200.0000 grams. I measure like something that I know will not change, like a hard plastic object or something. So I know it's telling me the truth, and then I weigh the sample, and then I'll wait, some amount of time, an hour, half an hour, do the same thing again. Take the reading, and then I chart it out, plot it, and sure enough, I see very consistently, I see a trend of weight loss.
Now, are you taking the sample off the scale and putting it back on, or just leaving it on the
Right.
scale?
Right. I take it off, I weigh it, and I
Uh-huh.
take it off and I weigh again in some period of time later, 10 minutes, half an hour, or an hour, whatever, right? And then I chart it out against time. And that's how I get those curves. And Jeremiah's seen the same thing too. Like he's very careful. He was a calibration technician actually, so he knows what he's doing when it comes to measuring things as far as anyone, I would think. So, and he has a Fisher scientific analytical balance. So like mine, it goes down to the 10th of a milligram. And so he was seeing changes in weight too, right? But it's hard to like overcome that skepticism. Like this can't be happening. It must be evaporation. But it's like you just have to try it for yourself, I guess. You know, like
Yeah.
I will try it.
Well, so let me see. Our hands. I think we're out of hands for right now. What I want to do now is I'm going to put this thing back on gallery view. I want to hand this. We're at the top of the hour. I want everybody, please put your hands back together for Wayne Ojala. I want to go to Mark. Actually, Mark, can I hand the conference over to you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I need to go out and get some fresh air because this room is passing me out here. I'm like struggling to. I'm going to have to get some coffee. I'll be back in a bit. So let me do that. Mark, I'm going to make you the host, and I'll probably have to restart video. There we go. Okay.
As far as the slides go, do you want me to?
Yeah, can you send me your slide deck?
email them?
Send me your slide deck. I'll see what I can do with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Send me your slide deck. I'll see what I can do with it. Maybe I can do print screens in or something like that. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. I'm going to mute this out. I'll be back in a bit. I just have to kind of go get my brain kickstarted again.